So welcome back. On this tape and in this section of the course, we'll be exploring something that will really make an enormous difference in your life. Have you ever started a project really gung-ho and lost enthusiasm somewhere in the middle? I can see everyone's nodding their head. Yes. Well, that's resistance. Resistance is quite insidious. It's one of the main things that stops us from having, doing, and being what we want in life. We resist, in fact, even the things we really like, the things we care about. Sometimes you can't even get yourself to go to the movies when you want to go because resistance is up. And if someone tells you to do something, that's a surefire way resistance is going to come up, even if you want to do it. I remember as a child growing up, I used to hate when my mother would tell me to do something that I wanted to do, because then I didn't want to do it anymore. I used to sometimes resist going out and playing with my friends because my mother was insisting that I go out and do it. And of course, when someone tells you you should do something, or you have to do something, what do you feel inside? Right. No way. Don't tell me what to do. But the same thing happens when you tell yourself what to do. If you say to yourself, you have to stop smoking, what happens? Oh yeah? Or, you better not eat this anymore. You go out and buy 3 boxes of it and you eat it all. That's just the nature of the mind. It just doesn't like being told what to do. We don't like that. So resistance is operating all the time because we live in a sea of shoulds and have-tos and must-dos and imperatives. Anytime there's an imperative, it stirs up resistance. By the way, that's why you notice on this tape series, we ask questions. We don't tell you what to do. We invite you to make self-discovery on your own. It's not, let go now. Because if we said that to you, you'd probably just hold on, which you're already doing. And resistance manifests in many different ways. Some subtle, like you just forget things that are important to you. Or you'll just find yourself gradually moving away from things that are really helpful, which can happen even with a tape series like this. You're doing great with the method, you're really enjoying it, you just think it's the best thing since sliced bread, and 3 months later, you're hardly using it anymore. What happened? You hit resistance. Resistance doesn't just happen with releasing, it happens in life all the time. And sometimes it's extreme, where you don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. Anytime you feel like you have to, or you should do something, or you must do it, you're hitting resistance. Because the should creates an opposing force equal to or greater than the force that you're exerting to try to get something to happen. So let's explore what resistance feels like, and let's do some releasing on it, because I think if we do that, it will make the releasing itself easier, but it will make a tremendous difference in life. So think of something, and actually this is more of a process, so if you like you can focus inside. But just like with all releasing, that's not even really that necessary. Releasing can be done no matter what else you're doing. But if you'd like to, you can get yourself a little comfortable and focus inside. And think of something that you think you should do, must do, have to do. It's important that you do. Any one of those. And notice how you tighten up inside. When you think you have to do something, you push back. And could you just welcome that feeling of resistance? Could you just really allow it to be here? And then could you let it go? Would you? When? Think of that same thing or something else that it seems really, really important to get yourself to do, or that someone else told you you have to do, like losing weight, or stopping smoking, or making more money, or paying your bills, or being out of debt. And notice how that immediately engenders resistance inside of you. And could you welcome that feeling of resistance? And then could you let it go? Would you? When? Now think of something else in your life that you have resistance to. We also resist things that we have to do over and over again. Even simple things, like brushing our teeth, or taking out the garbage, or mowing the lawn. Those maintenance things that we do all the time. Cleaning the dishes. That's a big one for a lot of people. And just let yourself feel what it feels like to resist. Welcome it. Allow it to be here. And then could you let it go? Would you? When? Find something else in your life that you resist. There are certain things that we resist, like loud noises or bright lights, or certain inflections in people's voice, even certain smells. So find one of those items that you resist. And could you welcome that resistance into your awareness? And could you just embrace it? And then could you let it go? Would you? When? We also resist certain people. Think of a person in your life right now that you have resistance to. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. We sometimes even resist the people that we love. But think of someone who you feel resistant towards. It could be an in-law. That's a popular one. Or just someone else in your experience that you resist. And could you allow that resistance into your awareness? And could you welcome it? And then could you let it go? Would you? When? And one of the big things that we resist is our feelings. We very often don't want to feel what we're feeling, especially if we've labeled it as unpleasant. And there are usually certain feelings that we resist more than others. Like most people don't like feeling fear. They resist that feeling. Or anger. But can you get a sense in this moment how you resist certain feelings? And could you welcome that resistance into your awareness? Could you just allow yourself to resist for a moment? And then could you let it go? Would you? When? And we also resist things that are good for us. Things we like to do. That's why we never seem to find time for those things that are really pleasurable. Because even there's resistance. We even resist releasing, even though we know it's helping tremendously. So think of something that you resist, that you even enjoy doing, but there's still hesitation. And could you just allow yourself to feel the resistance? Welcome it into your awareness. And then could you let it go? Would you? When? We also resist things about our body. Certain sensations, the way it looks. Even if we were our ideal weight, if that was possible for anyone in the United States, or anyone in the world for that matter, most people just obsess about their weight and the way they look. And we resist however we look, even if we're having a good hair day. So find something about your physicality that you resist. Something about your body. Either the way it feels, or the way it looks, or something like that. And just welcome the resistance into your awareness. And then could you let it go? Would you? When? Now, any one of the topics that we just touched on would be a very good one for further exploration. You know the ones that really you resonated with the most. There's also a really neat exercise you can do as you move about in life. Because resistance is there all the time, we can artificially focus it on the objects in our environment. So look around your room for a moment. Now if you had your eyes closed, open your eyes for a moment, because you'll have fun with this. And find a small object in your environment that you can focus your resistance on. It could be just a little dot on the furniture, on the floor, on the carpet, on the ceiling, or just some piece of furniture, or just anything. And just for a moment, focus your resistance on it. The resistance that's always present, just below the surface. And then could you let it go? Would you? When? Now find something else in your environment that you actually are resistant to or could just focus your resistance on. It could be something very small. But just allow yourself to focus your resistance on that object. And then could you let it go? Would you? When? Pick another object in your environment that you can focus your resistance on, or that you're actually resistant to. Maybe something you thought you should have cleaned up a while ago. A little mess here, a little mess there. It doesn't matter. Just focus on it and notice the resistance. And if you want to, you can artificially increase it. And then could you let it go? Would you? When? That was kind of fun, wasn't it? This is a little trick you can do as you're moving through life, in your office, at home, in the car, going for a walk. Find little objects that you can focus your resistance on, the resistance that's always present just below our level of awareness. And by doing that, you bring it into awareness and you release it. And as you release resistance anywhere in your life, I promise you, you'll see a tremendous change for the better. Try this little exercise in life. Look for where you resist in life and start letting go of the resistance. The more you let go of resistance, the more you can be present in this moment, and the more you can flow with whatever is. The less resistance there is, the more you can feel freedom in this moment. So allow yourself to continue releasing on the resistance in life on your own. And play this tape often, because the more you let go of resistance, the more everything will get easier for you. And by the way, we'll be exploring where resistance comes from on the next tape as we get into the underlying wants that are behind all that we feel.